Alrighty, so thank you very much for joining me.
It's awesome to be here.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever been to Gamescom before or...
No, this is my first time.
Nice.
First time. So first day, it's been super cool so far. So I hear that it gets more and more impressive over the days. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've been here last year. It was stupidly busy, but it'll be fun. So for anyone wondering, if I'm not mistaken, you work a lot on the co-op side of things, right?
Yeah, I'm the lead co-op designer on StarCraft II Legacy of the Void.
Nice. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't actually play co-op very much until like 5 months ago or so, and then I started playing it. I've always been like a multiplayer type guy, so I'm always playing a lot of 1v1s, and then, you know, someone pointed out I should really give it a try, and I've been actually really enjoying it so far. Yeah,
awesome.
It's been really
That's good news. Good news.
Yeah, so today I've been playing a lot of Alarak, which is going to be the new hero. I don't know if you can tell us anything about it.
Yeah, Alarak, you know, as you said, he's our latest co-op commander. What makes him really unique is that he's the first Protoss commander on the battlefield. We've seen the two Zerg heroes on the battlefield with Zagara and Kerrigan, so this is the first time that Protoss have one. What makes his playstyle unique is that, unlike the other two heroes, he really needs direct support from his army.
Right.
Every time he takes lethal damage, one of his units will be sacrificed to keep Alarak alive. One of the cool things we've done to support this mechanic, we've introduced a brand new unit to the Protoss, which is the Supplicant. Only Alarak has it. He doesn't have Zealots, so you only can build these Supplicants, and you got your other Tal'Darim units. But their whole job is to keep Alarak alive. Through progression, through upgrades, these Supplicants become stronger. They start empowering Alarak on the battlefield.
Right.
So it's a really cool dynamic. It's really, you know, riffing off the what we saw in Legacy of the Void with the map where your army is supporting the movement forward.
Oh, the Rakshir one?
The Rakshir, exactly, yes. So that's even his ultimate. So when you pop your ultimate, you'll see the Rakshir going on, and you'll see all the Wispies, so he's getting stronger. So if you have a bigger army, he's even stronger, right? So there's a lot of fun play there.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I played a whole bunch of games with him. I noticed that there isn't a Stargate available for him other than the Death Fleet.
Yes.
Was that like a purpose, or like did that like, you know, purposefully get designed that way, or?
Yeah, that's intentional. I mean, one of the things we talk about a lot when we're developing these commanders is we want to have this relationship with other commanders, right?
Right.
He doesn't have a ton of anti-air. I mean, he does have his Slayers, which is the Tal'Darim version of the Stalkers, but that's his one unit, right? If he's focused on bringing the harder hitting, you know, Wraithwalkers and his Immortals, then it really allows to say, hey, communicate with your allies, says, hey, look, we need anti-air on this one.
Right.
I'll take care of the ground, you take care of the air. So we're looking for those kind of synergy moments between these commanders.
All right, so that's going to be the new hero. I don't know if you guys, if you can tell us anything about heroes I'm working on, or that you...
Well, we do have more heroes in the pipeline, right? I don't want to spoil anything today. I just want everybody to know that we are working on heroes. Our goal is to get out content. We want more commanders. We'd love to have a huge array of various StarCraft characters, because there's a lot of characters out there we don't know a lot about. You know, Heroes of the Storm does a good job of finding some of these characters, but there's still so many more characters that we could explore. It's all on my wish list. We're also building lots of co-op missions. Those take a little bit longer, as you can understand. Like, we do a lot of balance. We make sure that, you know, the multiple bases. We do have one coming out called Missed Opportunities. This will come out with Alarak. With this map, we're bringing back an old friend, Egon Stepman from Wings Liberty, the scientist guy, right?
Nice. Oh, yeah, the nerdy guy? Like
the nerd.
Yeah.
So we went fun with this one because he's gone back to Belshire, if you remember I think it was called Welcome to the Jungle with Tosh, where you guys are taking the Terrazine gas from the Protoss.
Right. It's been a couple years, but I remember them.
So we went back to that mission, and we came up with the story of Egon had gone back there.
Nice.
But he's been there a little bit too long, so the Terrazine gas has kind of done some weird things to Egon, right? So we're having a lot of fun with our co-op missions to add these personalities. We saw this with Donnie Vermillion in our last mission. We've seen that with Sergeant Hammer in a chart mission. So we want to bring these personalities. We're seeing a lot of success. Fans have been excited about it, saying, oh my God, you guys brought back Donnie Vermillion, right? So, you know, moving forward, this is where we want to go. We want to build a lot of personalities maps. Maps will always be free. We're trying to get the pipeline. We're trying to get these things out as fast as we can.
Right, so all the maps will be free for the you know, the upcoming release as well?
Yeah, we have no plans on changing that. It's really important for us to say that the mission pool is healthy, right? commanders, like you might have your favorite commanders. Right now, you could go to Starter Edition and you could play Kerrigan, Artanis, and Raynor for free. You don't even own the license of the game, right? But they still get all access to the map. So we feel that the map is important to kind of keep everybody together. If you're interested in the commanders, there's obviously the different licenses. You know, buy Heart of the Swarm, buy Legacy of the Void, or buy each commander individually. So we figure this is a way to really support this mode, really keep it forward, making sure that we're having these great personalities like Egon coming back and all that stuff. So
yeah, so like in general, right? Because it seems to be that a lot of people at the very least starting to realize that I make a lot of YouTube play co-op and ups videos, and those videos actually get a lot of views because people really enjoy them. Are you like in general happy with the way co-op has been going so far, like say compared to the multiplayer? Because for a while I heard there's a lot of people that go from like say campaign and then they try some co-op and maybe eventually some multiplayer. But in general, are you happy with like the amount of players that you see in
tremendously happy. We had some goals in our head, and I was being very optimistic, and those bars were even shattered, right? I think the team, the co-op team, has done a really great job. All the different teams that really support us for the co-op. We, like you said, like most people come into these games are, Wings, Heart, they play the campaign. We see about 80% of the people that love the campaign, and only 20% stick around for the hardcore multiplayer. I mean, these are the really hardcore, engaged, competitive players.
Is that like 80 to 20?
Yeah, it drops like that. So, for a long time we've been saying, how do we help these people stick around? Because they obviously love the game. They're buying it, they're watching the story, they're playing the campaign missions. We understand that the competitive side is hardcore, right? It's the cream of the crop competitive esports, and it's very stressful for one-on-one. I'm not very good at multiplayer, but I stick around. I play a lot of co-op, right? And so this was really targeting that audience, and we had hoped, they stick around for an extra 20 hours, because campaign itself is roughly 20 hours, and we got another 20 hours, and we're like, this is fantastic. Went through the roof. These guys, the fans out there are just digesting this content, playing, just a ton of hours. The data is showing right now that on certain months, more people are playing co-op than multiplayer. It kind of bounces back and forth, but it's really its own
and that's like all of
now.
Multiplayer or like just one few?
All of multiplayer, yeah. So co-op,
that's pretty impressive.
The co-op fans have done a really good job showing up and loving this content. So
nice. So with that, I mean, maybe I'm not the prime example for that because I play this game a lot, right?
Sure.
But with that, are you planning on saying like adding any more difficulties? Because I noticed in particular now that I've like upped my mastery points a bunch. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can solo most missions on Brutal with Carracks. I mean,
yeah, you're really good.
No, I'm not saying I'm really good, but it becomes like significantly easier once.
So that was once we did the mastery levels and allow you to kind of customize your commander. That's why we introduced the weekly mutation challenges, right?
Right.
Some have been harder than others. Obviously, as the power curve, as you get more mastery levels, you'll find that even the harder ones, when we originally tested, are starting to get a little bit easy. So we do have a new mode that's coming out this year that I could talk about. We're going to have custom mutation.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
Custom mutation is really going to allow a co-op player to create their own unique co-op experience. So all those weekly mutators that you see in these weekly mutation challenges will be added to this big bucket list. And a party leader could go in there and select up to 10 mutators active. Most of these weekly, they only have 3 mutators, right?
Right.
So so for the people who are, hey, I want a challenge.
Okay.
Here you go. Start clicking that up. Start adding some more, right? We hope a lot of people have fun with this. It's not just to be challenging, right? Because there's a lot of people out there who are, hey, I'm legitimately a normal gameplay. I love this. I take StarCraft my own pace. You could still add these mutators that you liked, one of your favorite ones from a couple weeks ago. Oh, let's try it on this map, right? So it's really just to add more gameplay and have more fun. But if you want the challenge is there.
Okay, cool. So like basically what I gotta imagine is you click like custom mutator, you choose the map, and you just add.
Well, there's some details where we haven't locked it all in, but the idea would be right now is like you go into the normal co-op game mode. Already we have the mutation tab for the weekly challenge, and then there would be one that's custom. You click on that, a party leader, so you'd be in a party with someone. We figured it'd be really hard to do any kind of matchmaking based on, how do we set that? Like, hey, you didn't choose this one, right? So
you have to do it in a party.
You have to do it in a party. So that's helping for the social aspect. We already see a lot of communication going on. I pug all the time. People will start messaging me. I'll start playing with them again. So hopefully it becomes really easy for people to get in parties and try that. So
yeah, nice. Okay, so speaking of like the weekly mutations, I noticed like on Twitch in particular, people were mentioning like, hey, are those ever gonna like recycle, or are you planning to like keep on running them? Because as far as I know, so far there haven't been any duplicates.
There have been. technically there's been no duplicates.
Right.
So there was
maybe a couple of the mutations, like one of the
there was a
individual
challenge
ones.
that we had that we called Chaos Studios that we thought a lot of people would have a lot of fun with. And what that is there's a mutator that randomizes different mutations within that play.
Right.
So every time you play, it can be a different random. So we were using previously, but it was its own mutator randomizing. So as the game started, it might go from dropping nukes, and all of a sudden now all the enemies cloaked, and so it kind of kept it fresh. Some of the feedback felt that we kind of mailed it in a little bit. We were like, no, this is supposed to be awesome.
Yeah.
But our long-term plans, we're hoping we could go very long before we get a repeat.
Awesome.
We got, between the 3 variations, different maps, we could start doing some of that. But, at this point, we're still focused on trying to create new mutators, something you haven't seen before. And maybe there's a world down the road here where we have to start repeating just because in order to keep 52 weeks worth of challenges.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine.
So
I remember at some point with Hearthstone, you had the Tavern Brawls, and they just sort of started recycling after already after a couple of months, right? But it's been a while with Mutator so far. I was really wondering if that just kept on going, or
we're trying to keep that streak alive.
It's really nice. It's really nice. Other than that, I had one more question from Twitch that people asked, are there any plans to say, do co-op missions with 3 people or maybe even 4 people? Are there maybe plans to update maps, like maybe map-specific ones where, are you open to that idea? Do you like that idea? Or
it's going to be really challenging. When we originally approached co-op, and we've tried this a few times over the course of these games, and this is the one that really resonated and really worked. We started with that question: 4 players, 3 players, 2 players. What we felt was one of the core reasons we went with co-op that you see now is that we wanted people to have that single player experience with their friend, and people remember those moments in the campaign. So we wanted to try to preserve that. And as we've kind of developed the last couple missions, they're not very close to the campaign. They're kind of like, it's a little bit of that mission. So we're starting to get into that territory where we're going to start developing missions. But I don't think we can do 3 players. We already have so much units on there. There's a bit of a performance. There is some technical issues as why we can't put so many those large armies trying to get through choke points. We tried early on to see what those kind of armies look, and it would
just get a mess.
Yeah, we felt like with the design of these commanders, if we really focused on just how do these 2 guys work together? How do these 2 work together? We felt like we could be a little bit more pure on the design as well. But we've had a lot of feedback about missions wanting more expansions. That seems to be a regular occurrence.
Why 2 bases is basically the max, right?
Yeah,
like 1.
And mostly I think that comes from the multiplayer scene where that's part of it. You have to get these expansions. You're on your 3rd base, you're on your 4th, and you're trying to prevent, right? It doesn't necessarily matter so much in co-op, but we'll get a mission out there. I know one's in the pipeline right now. It does have multiple, so we'll see how everybody likes it, right? So if there's something people like, we want to kind of move forward. So.
Nice. So just to clarify what you just mentioned, are you planning to, well, not so much steer away from the campaign, but are you gonna make missions, obviously in the StarCraft universe, but based off of no campaign missions, just made from scratch in that regard, or?
That's going to probably come up pretty shortly here, right? Because when we start talking about what are our future maps, we have 3 or 4 that are already being worked on down the pipeline. These things take a while. And so we're always thinking what's next? And we start going down that list of all our campaigns, right? And one of the core things we need is a map that's already large, right? There are certain missions in Wings, Heart of the Swarm. They're the early missions where you had small amount of armies.
Right, or you skip through different stages.
Yeah, so those are really small maps, right? So we were looking more at the end of the missions where the campaign supported a large army. So we're going to start running out options.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
We're going to run out of options, and also we run up with a lot of these cool mechanics, and we've tried to swap them in different maps. We're like, this is cool mechanics, not working there, it's not working there. So at some point, we're going to build the map with that mechanic and idea and push it forward. So
yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you very much. I've been really enjoying it so far. The co-op games. I'm glad to hear though that it's as popular as you're saying.
Yeah.
If it makes that much of a